Chug-a-lug, chug-a-lug. Make you want to holler, hidey-ho. Burns your tummy, don't you know? Chug-a-lug, chug-a-lug.
All right, this is SFBarkast. I'm Jeff Cleary.
I am Andrew Lauder.
And Andrew, where are we today?
We're at the BeautyBar.
The BeautyBar.
On was it Mission and
19th.
Corner.
Corner.
I'm right this time.
Right on the corner.
God damn it. I knew if I said corner enough times, I'd be fucking right once.
Yeah, put that geography degree to good use.
That's right. Give me the XY coordinates of this place, and I'll find it in an airplane with no windows.
So, do you remember there was, I don't know if this was part of the same people that started the BeautyBar in New York.
I believe it is. In fact,
oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah. In fact, this is quite a chain now, I think. Like, I was looking online. They have locations in Brooklyn, New York, San Francisco, Dallas, I think Denver, where else? Vegas.
Modesto?
Yeah, I think they got one in Tracy, one in Stockton. No, but so yeah, they're all over the goddamn place.
This is
so
the thing,
they've squeezed as much out of this goddamn stone as they can.
But this is the thing, like the one that opened in New York was on 14th Street,
right.
And it
right
actually
next to Julian's Billiards.
Down the street from Julian's Billiards.
That was the bartender that turned the music up, not me in post production. Just I wanted to make sure everybody knew that.
Yeah, let everybody know. So, the one on 14th Street in New York actually was a beauty salon, and whoever
right.
whoever bought the space went in there and was like, no, it's perfect. Let's just go like this.
It's like great moments in laziness where it's like, what should we do to it? Nothing. It's perfect. Don't pour that blue water out with combs in it. I want it just like it is.
That's like the world's best interior designer. Just walks into a place and be like, perfect.
Drop that hair dryer. You are leaving it where it is.
So the thing is, this one though in San Francisco is not one of those that used to be an actual beauty salon.
Right. Yeah, I mean you can tell that this was probably never. It's just a little too kitschy, and it's not it's not realistic. As far as an actual.
When it first opened up, I don't remember how long ago, but they used to have hair dryers in here.
Yeah.
And they've since taken a lot of that stuff out.
Well, they still have one. Over here,
there's one over here, right?
Yeah, but I remember seeing pictures on the internet where they had it was all against the wall or something like that, which I'm sure that in the immortal words of John, what's his face from Bar Rescue?
Oh,
John Taffer. He probably would walk out and be like, these places are taking up valuable space, or these hair dryers are costing you $10,000 a year in lost income.
How do you feel about that? That's kind of like the difference between having having something that's actually was functional before, and then having an interior decorator come in and put in a bunch of stuff it used to be something else that it wasn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It kind of it's a small detail, but it kind of ruins it for me.
It's slightly dishonest.
Because suddenly it's a gimmick.
Yeah, exactly. And especially if it wasn't. I mean, if they went around to places that used to be actual salons and they held to that. Premise or whatever like that, where they weren't going to take a new place and make it into an old place that used to be something else. I might feel one way about it, but yeah, the whole idea of now we're a chain just called the BeautyBar, and we just put up this our symbol of some lady from the 50s or whatever, and that's the way it is. It does seem sort of wholly dishonest in a way.
Who is it? Was it?
The fuck is this music, by the way?
Oh yeah, I don't know. They were playing My Bloody Valentine,
and now gone into Calliope circus music.
Now it's some sort of German guy's nightmare. Who is Andy Kindler? I believe he did a joke about. It's always weird when an International House of Pancakes goes out of business and somebody buys the space,
right?
Because it still has that A-frame. Stupid design, and it's just everybody knows what this used to be.
And now it's called Ed's House of Pancakes or something.
Or now it's some tax attorneys or something.
Right.
And you walk in and just
right.
Yeah, you give them shit, and they're like, oh yeah, another IHOP joke. Thanks a lot, dude.
There was a place in Seattle actually called Herfy's, that was like a burger place, and they had probably like 6 or 7 locations, but like it was a very unique looking sort of British, or not British, mid-century modern sort of like brick design. And anytime those would be taken over by a Taco Bell or Taco Time or something like that,
Yeah.
they would just keep it, and like it would be like, yeah, this is you still have the same shitty upholstery as the Herfy's did. You
There was
assholes.
a restaurant on Valencia Street that used to be a KFC,
Mhm.
and then it got turned into, I think, Spork, which is kind of like,
okay,
it's like
yeah.
a very like hip like restaurant.
Right.
But like, yeah, it was. And anybody who had lived there long enough, like, you could not like walk by there and be like, yes, it's a modified KFC
Right.
fucking building.
And in a way, that's almost like that's like a forebearer to the whole sort of like making a space look like, or making a space hip in that it's so unhip, where it's like, oh look, we have a KFC, we have like a beauty salon, but like now it's filled with like good looking 20-somethings. So like, isn't it cool now? And
That's
you're
an
like, well,
improvement.
maybe. But what do you think? I mean, like is this? I mean, this is right in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Is this a bar you come to a lot?
It's not a bar I come to a lot. In fact, I was just like thinking about this as I was coming down here. By the way, saw a dead body on the way down here.
Sweet.
Yep.
How did you manage to do that, or can you not talk about it?
I can't talk about it. I live right down the street from Duggan's funeral home.
Nice.
And so they're always like, they do the embalmings in one garage.
Right.
And then they have like all the funerals in like the actual like, building.
Right.
And sometimes I see them like moving the body. And like sometimes I see them
from-
moving like a stretcher, and you can tell the difference between a stretcher that has a body and doesn't have a body. 'Cause, like the one I saw today had a blanket over it.
Right.
But the thing is, like, what's under there. It's not like you're not gonna like look under there and see a bunch of tools.
But so I mean, it's a little bit of a letdown when you start off a story with you saw a dead body, but then it's like under a sheet.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't gonna be like Stand By Me. Okay?
Yeah, we're like Raiders of the Lost Ark, where the guy's like hanging off of a gate or something like that,
Well, I
like
used
all
to
bloody.
think, when I first moved into my apartment, like down the street from a funeral home, I used to think like, oh, this is kind of creepy, like, and then I just got like, I really warmed up to it for some bizarre reason. I felt like every time I saw a dead body, I'd be like, oh, it's going to be a good day.
It's like, oh, he's taking my place.
Exactly. Or I'd say like, hey, I may be having a shitty day, but that guy's having a worse day.
Or maybe it's the best day of his life.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you lucky son of a bitch.
It'd be like the ultimate like fucking sad sack person would be like, hey, son of a bitch, you died,
Oh,
you lucky
you taking the easy way out, are you?
Well, like, didn't we? I mean, we knew people that lived like there's an apartment.
Oh, right
like,
behind
almost
there.
directly like on top of it. I mean, like it's in the funeral home parking lot, basically.
Yes, and actually it's owned by Duggan's as well, and they just rent it out because it
Right.
used to be, I think, for people who worked there, and they just decided like the rents got like so high, we make some more money. Yeah, but like I knew some like complete like lunatics that lived over there. I think they ended up getting kicked out.
Yeah.
Because like they would get drunk and then get on the roof and then go like running across the roofs of like other like buildings.
Well, at least there's not a police station right next to it or anything.
Well, they're conveniently located right next to a funeral home if anything happens.
Right. It's probably one of the more secure locations in the city for not having your relative's corpse fucked with.
But you're right. Like when I first started talking about this, like I was walking down here, I was thinking like nobody I know in the Mission says, "Hey, let's meet at the Beauty Bar."
Yeah.
It's always something somewhere else.
What is it do you think that this place lacks as a warm comfort hangout or convenient place to be?
I think this place has a reputation of being a place for like bros to go to try to hit on women.
Okay.
Which is a big element of a lot of bars.
Right. In fact, we were at the Sycamore down the street before we came here, and Matt, the chef at the Sycamore, had a. It's not like he tore the place apart, but like when we told him we were going to the Beauty Bar, he's kind of like, "Oh boy, like don't bring any of those people back here."
Yeah, he did. Like we're gonna go to the Beauty Bar. Like everybody, come with us.
We're gonna come back with like 10 Jersey trash girls on each arm. Like, this is Sycamore, ruin it.
Although, like, you know what? Despite all of that, like, yes, I'd never come here, and when I do, it's just like it's not my type of bar.
Yeah.
Like, the bartender who's working here is like a good friend of mine. Anna Saragina, and she's a comedian in San Francisco.
Oh, she is. Okay.
So like I probably should come here more at least when she's working. But like I feel like now it's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and there's like they just opened.
Right.
And it's super comfortable.
Yeah.
You come back at like midnight, and it's just like.
No, I've been here when it's like when it's been slammed, and like didn't like your old roommate Carrie did he ever DJ here?
I think he did DJ here.
Like I mean, it's a good place for that kind of shit because it's it does get really crowded, but like
this is the thing, they do have dancing here and they have a DJ here, but the thing about it is it's a really small bar.
Yeah,
like,
it's much smaller than I even remember it because I for some reason when I was remembering it and when I was walking in, I thought there was more around the corner. Like you walk in and you're like, oh, okay, there's got to be like a big second room to this place, but there's not. It's very small. I mean, like
I mean, it could be. I think our second smallest bar after the phone booth.
Yeah, it's not phone booth small, but it's still pretty small.
Like the design of it, it's basically like an L shape. You walk in, and there's a small area to walk to the back, and then you have like a back area where it's like like I've been here dancing like years and years ago. And it's kind of fun if you're with some people and they're playing good music.
Right.
Because it's like everybody's kind of like you don't need a whole lot of people here to make it feel like it's packed. It's kind of like a small comedy club.
Yeah,
it's like if you have like a medium-sized comedy club and it's 20% filled, it's cavernous. And if you're like at the dark room, which is a small stage, and you have 50% people there, it feels like it's a full room.
Well, like the Yelp reviews, like they have a pretty terrible Yelp presence. Like I mean, and it's almost like victim of their own success kind of thing, where you've got all of these like marina kids and bridge and tunnel like crowd that are like pissed off that they can't like get in here and get a beer right away on a weekend. It's like, well,
imagine
like how
that.
You're pissed off because this place like is popular enough for you to have heard about it. And so it's like, like that doesn't really make sense. A lot of people are like, why don't they be more selective about who they let in so I can come in and get a beer? It's like, no, they are being selective, and you lose.
Yeah, you didn't make it.
Right, yeah, exactly. You didn't make the cut.
This like neighborhood has like totally changed a lot. Like this bar's been here for a while, but just within a half a block radius, you have. Was it High and Low, which is a Kevin Youkilis restaurant,
right.
And there's Southpaw right down the street, which is another Youkilis thing. Mm-hmm. And then you have Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem.
Yeah. And
then right around the corner used to be.
We went to Sycamore right before this too. So I mean, like
Sycamore is like new, and
because I remember when the Beauty Bar. I mean, like I don't remember like exactly when it opened, but like I remember like late 90s or whenever it was. That I remember this not being a hip area at all. Like it was pretty daring, I would say, of them to open here when they did.
My friend Mike has a theory about that, and I think it no longer applies. Where people who came in, like the Bridge and Tunnel crew, who would come in for Friday and Saturday night, like they did not want to go east of Valencia Street because that's not good for white people. But that rule is no longer in effect because like they love coming down here now.
Well, there's I can't think of any part of the mission now that's like that's out of bounds.
You know what?
I mean, like sort of, I guess, past 24th a little bit, but even that's like
it's
changing
still
every day.
Somewhat accurate, like what Mike was saying, because if you go down to on a Friday and Saturday night, you go down to the right spot, which is like Folsom, which is you're going east of Valencia, and you're going past Mission, past South Van Ness.
Right.
Yeah, white people still don't like to go down there.
But I almost have a feeling that like.
But if you go too far down, there's more white people.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say like Dogpatch and like Soma are like gradually like creeping up on that area from both sides. Like where and like Potrero Hill's like sort of rounding the going around back, and like so like I think that even that area is gonna just eventually get swallowed up. Like just like the trade center's coming down.
It's like, fucking Building 7. It's all in your dollar bill. You know what I mean?
Like, came straight down, controlled demolition.
Exactly. How did that happen? Like thermite.
Like now the people like own this bar, like regretting that they're like letting two idiots at the end of the bar screaming about 9/11.
Well, I have like worse stories to tell.
Well, excellent.
But Do you want to take a break? And
Yeah, do you wanna
we
bring
have
our,
a special guest on today.
Yet
who,
another
picked
special
this
guest.
bar,
Oh, excellent.
and he's in town from L.A.
So he's to blame.
So we'll tease that. I don't want anyone to turn the channel.
Yeah, exactly. Well, interviews with big shots from LA coming up, so don't turn it off.
All right, this is SFBarkast at the Beauty Bar on Mission and 19.
Hey, glad girls, I only wanna get you high. Hey, glad girls, I only wanna get you high. Hey, glad girls, I only wanna get you high. And they're alright, and they're alright, and they're alright, and they're alright, glad girls.
All right, and we are back at the Beauty Bar.
The Beauty Bar.
And Andrew, we have a very special guest today.
Who's that?
This guest, he used to live in San Francisco, and now he lives in L.A.
Oh.
And he's actually been on the WTF podcast. So I want to know
WTF with that fan.
with that fan.
Yeah. It
Oh,
was
so-
before Marin took over. They gave it to Dat Fan, had it for like a couple weeks. and
WDP.
then- yeah.
So
It's WTH. What the hell?
this is Chris
What the hell, my
Garcia.
mother?
I want people to know this is Chris Garcia. You jumped
yeah,
my
yeah.
intro.
Hey, sorry.
It's all about like karate chopping people at urinals or something.
So I
yeah,
think-
it's like we wear pants with a lot of pockets and do a lot of jump kicks. There was actually we didn't really talk a lot. We just jumped around and wore visors
awesome.
the whole time. It was pretty.
You talked about the Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Just
And our
recreate.
moms.
I hope that like, since you've been on WTF, you realize like how professional we are.
And this is just like that.
So, Chris, you still live in this neighborhood, and now you live in LA. What do you miss about the Mission?
Not that much. It changed.
Next guest.
No. Well, I liked it before it turned into an Apple store with a wine bar inside.
Jesus Christ, I
What,
know.
what did you imagine missing about it, which you've now been disappointed with?
Oh no, I miss the walking and I miss the people and I miss the bed bugs. But most of those things have moved on into Oakland or other parts of.
They
the
just follow
city.
Barry Sobel around.
You saying that there's no bed bugs in Silver Lake?
There are some, but I don't trust a city that doesn't have bed bugs in it. So like, I feel like Echo Park and Silver Lake, they're okay. They're
It makes
fine.
you feel right at home.
Yeah.
Right.
But I used to be able to walk down Valencia Street and like try on a shitty sweater that didn't fit at a thrift store that was open only for like an hour a week and leave with an STD. And those days are done. And I'm a little sad about it.
You're a little bit more refined now, I think.
Yeah. I
Now
don't
when you
know.
grab someone's sweater and try it on, they get all pissed off.
yeah. There's people wearing flip-flops.
That's got to stop.
That's got to stop.
Yeah.
I wish
Wait,
I
are you
cared
talking
about
about
him
here
enough.
or in LA?
I don't care
No.
what the climate is. Like even if it's like the Middle East, like you
Yeah.
put on some shoes.
I don't care if
Well,
you're a
in
fucking
this
oil
neighborhood,
sultan.
You're gonna get AIDS foot in this neighborhood. Your foot's gonna fall off.
AIDS foot. I've
Yeah.
heard about that.
Yeah, it's what happens when you walk around the Mission with flip flops
I
on.
was in a chick tract, I think. Like here's some AIDS foot.
I had a girlfriend who her biggest pet peeve in the world was seeing people wearing socks with sandals.
Oh.
And then I heard someone talk about like Portland, Oregon, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's just Portland has socks with sandals." I was like, "Oh my god, I hope she never goes there." She'll just be like going around like punching people all day long.
I
Well,
remember somebody-
technically, they do socks with Crocs there. That's
Socks
like
with
their
Crocs?
big- That's their big thing.
Well, like, so what's the point of socks with Crocs? Because aren't Crocs just supposed to be like naturally ventilating, and like now you're throwing a sock in the mix? Like that seems wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or ill-conceived at the very least.
Yeah.
Come on,
Usually
Portland.
like wool socks too. I don't know. It's weird.
Portland's stupid. Let's
Portland is
just
stupid.
get that out there right away. Portland's
He
full of
seems like
idiots.
some like lumberjack guy back in the day wearing sandals, cutting down a fucking tree.
That's right. Like
So you picked this bar, Chris. Did you ever go here when you were living here?
Sometimes. I mean, yeah, I think sometimes in my like single days at 1 o'clock in the morning, it was like the type of place you would go to.
I was just saying, like, it's not the place I would go to now, but it's like it's a great place if you're like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go dancing and probably drink too much and
Yeah.
try to stick my
Maybe-
tongue
You
down.
like come
someone's
here with
throat.
like a
When I was,
wheelbarrow,
like
like
23 or something.
you come here with like
So,
a
like, 3
wheelbarrow
or-
at like 1 in the morning and just be like, yeah, okay, anybody like, like hop on in.
Yeah. Or I'd be more like, can someone drive me home in this thing? Probably. But I actually, one day, I think the service was really bad and the people were terrible. And the bathroom was, there was a line to go to the bathroom. And I just peed in the photo booth. I don't want to say it too loudly, but I sat there like I was taking a picture and I just stuck my dick out and I just peed all over the place.
You know,
And there's pictures of it.
what, did you put money in?
I put money in
Of
it.
course, I'd be like,
I just like had a very like.
you can't be there
Face.
with no money in it. They'll kick you out.
Yeah, that's.
But you know,
That's not
like,
cool.
I've always said this, like, the key to peeing in a photo booth
Right.
is selling it. like you're still taking the photo.
Right.
And like
Being able to,
everybody's
like-
looking at you taking a photo, and you don't know you whipped your dick out.
Yeah. I just still still made kooky faces
You're
and
like,
like.
Did you like? Did you stop halfway through and get some hats and stuff like that?
yeah. Does anybody have a fedora? Okay, luckily I'm at the beauty bar. No problem.
Please put your dick back in, and then we'll give you a fedora.
No, but I like this bar. I mean, Hannah works here. That's always fun. I used to know a guy named Bryce, of course. A guy named Bryce works here.
We've all known a guy named Bryce at one point or another.
Everyone knows a Bryce.
I'm
or
learning
a
like
Griffin in
new
the
stereotypes
neighborhood, you know?
about the mission. It's full of Bryces apparently.
I have like a little story about like this bar. I got a jaywalking ticket at midnight right outside this bar
How did you manage that?
on a Saturday
You got
night.
people pissing in photo booths, from what I've heard.
I know
and they're
exactly.
getting you for
Apparently, these
jaywalking.
cops don't have anything else to do. But I guess I know what happened was, I don't know if you guys remember, but maybe like 10 years ago, 8 years ago, there was a story about an SF cop who beat up somebody for their steak fajitas. He was off duty. And then, like, you know, somebody was walking by him on Union Street, and he was like, "Hey, I may have one of the steak fajitas." The guy's like, "Fuck you!" Like you would to anybody who asked you. And the cop like beat the shit out of this guy. He took his steak fajitas, and because he was an off-duty cop, all the cops in SF like covered for him. But but then it came out. So like right after that happened, I'm walking down 19th Street, and I see some cruiser going by me, and because I'm a genius, I scream steak fajita, and I was with two guys, and
It's turning into more than just a casual jaywalking story. If you're
yeah, I know there was a little subtext to it. So of course, like I thought like I did that because I'm the funniest guy in the whole fucking world, right?
Yeah.
And then my friends were like, you idiot, you shouldn't have done that. So like we keep walking. Little did we know that the cops like turned around and started skulking after us really slow and waited for us to cross against the light. And as soon as we did, we got all hit with like jaywalking tickets.
Oh man.
And like they actually called. It was like they had one cruiser with two cops, and they called for backup. There were like two other cruisers. There were 6 cops there for a fucking jaywalking ticket. And like I was like standing right outside the beauty bar, and whatever you think about this bar, like I love the people here that night because there were people coming out going, "Yo, the beauty bar's got your back." I was like, "Yeah, thanks, bro."
So did they represent you in court?
No, but
You get like high-paid like beauty bar team of lawyers. On your
I
side.
went.
My name is Davin. I'm a barback. I went to law school for a month.
Well, this is the thing. Like, I was gonna go and like contest it, right? So I'm like all ready to tell my story, right? And it was right after the Iraq War had started, so they had arrested like all these people, and I went in there and I'm just like
They've
ready.
gotten a taste for arresting people.
He's like,
Really?
I'm ready to like tell my whole story about like how these like 2 like short cops were like just gave a shit because they couldn't take a joke. And I got up there, and the guy just like looks at my file and goes, "Are you one of these protesters?" And I was like,
One of these protesters.
because I guess all the protesters that got like arrested for the Iraq War protest,
Right.
he was just like they were all just like letting him go.
Oh,
And-
so you're like, yeah, fuck yeah, I was
Well, no.
protesting for
I was like, no.
limited arms.
And he's like, who are you? I was like, I'm the jaywalking guy on 19th and Mission at midnight. And he's like
you
looks
gave
at my,
yourself a nickname. You're like, I'm the jaywalking
Yeah.
guy.
right, yeah. And then I
Jay
said,
Cleary. Jay stands for Jaywalker.
Jason for jaywalking. And then like I started to try to tell my story, and he just goes, "What? No, stop." He's like, "It's a $120 ticket. What do we say? 19?" And
$19?
$19. And I was just like, in my mind, like going to like 850 Bryant, I was just like already. I was like, yeah, I'm really gonna fucking stand up for myself.
Right.
And as soon as he like was like, hey, how about $19? I was like, deal.
You never take the first offer. You're supposed to like
Yeah,
haggle.
come on.
Well, actually,
He
one of the-
started at 19.
It's like,
Right,
you would've done it for
exactly.
10.
Does that leave me any wiggle room?
Be like, look, I'm walking out of here. Like, unless you say 10.
Yeah. I like how it was like kind of like a Craigslist interaction with this guy.
You're like, I like $19, but I'd really like $10.
My friend Doug, there were three of us. He went and he had to do the same thing, and the same thing happened to him where the judge is like, hey, now let's just like plead out. And Doug's just like, no, I came all the way down here. I want to tell you what happened. And the judge is like, proceed. And like, so then he told him the story. And like, you know, when you do that, like the judge could be pissed and be like, hey, fuck you. Now you're going to, like, I've heard you and now you have to pay the full fine. But the judge was like, that was a great story. $20. Get out of here. Like, and the best part, well, the worst part is when we got pulled over there. It's like me, Doug, and this other guy, and my friend Jim was like, super like worried that we were going to get in more trouble.
Right.
And since I was the one that said steak fajita, I was like, oh shit, this is all my fault. So I clam up, and as soon as other cops showed up, Doug just starts like mouthing off to all the cops, and he just like takes the ball and runs with it. And like there were like the two cops who like were writing off us a ticket, and there was like an old cop and a young cop standing over by us. And Doug just like looks at me and says really loud, he's like, let's run for it. All these guys are fat, they'll never catch us.
Oh.
And like
Man.
the old cop just says,
It's so cool
don't
to be white,
do
you guys."
that. And then Doug like looks at the cop and goes, yeah, you'd probably shoot us in the back, wouldn't you? It's like the old cop is just like, he looked like Danny Glover, like, I'm too old for this shit.
Like, I think that, like, to a certain extent, like, there must be cops that, like, are like, man, if this was, like, 40 years ago, I would destroy your life so much right now, but, like, now everybody has phones and, like, you know.
Yeah, all these the days of when the camera phones came in, like those
Right.
days of just beating the living shit out of somebody for jaywalking, they're all over.
Yeah. Thanks, Obama.
God, really,
Thanks
a lot.
Obama. Ron Paul 2012. All right, you want to take a break?
Sure, why not?
All right, let's take a break, and then we'll come back with Chris Garcia at the Beauty Bar.
Cuando Juanita y Chan Chan en el mar servían arena, como sacudía el jibe, a Chan Chan le daba pena. Limpia el camino de paz, y yo me quiero sentar en aquel tronco que veo, y así no puedo llegar.
And we are back at the Beauty Bar.
Hello.
With Chris Garcia.
Garcia, indeed.
Chris, have you ever done the SF International Comedy Competition?
No, I have
You
not.
haven't?
No.
Okay, because I just recently was the judge of the finals,
Oh, wow.
and I was very upset with who won.
Now, you had to travel some distance to
I went to
judge
Cache
this
Creek.
one.
Have you ever performed in Cache Creek Casino?
No. Not quite there yet.
Have
Maybe
you-
in a couple of years.
Wait, have you ever performed at a Indian reservation casino?
No. I sometimes tell jokes during Breaking Bad, but that's it.
I think the guy that I like the most is Brendan Lynch, and he does a lot of crowd work. And he came out and he started to do Indian casino jokes.
Right.
And it was just like, yeah, it's like a sweat lodge in here, some shit like that.
Oh, that's really funny.
And the crowd just wasn't. I loved it, but the crowd just wasn't eating it up.
Yeah.
He ended up coming in second. And
Did any of the shows occur in San Francisco?
yeah, you know where? Back in the day, they used to have it at the Purple Onion, and now the Purple Onion's gone. And you know where they had the one in San Francisco this year was at the Comic Club.
Oh,
in the
it's
marina?
Ben Feldman's
in the marina. Yeah.
open mic.
And it's absolutely terrible. Like the comedy competition used to have, it has like a great reputation, but I feel like it's kind of coasting on its reputation because, like, you know,
little
like
bit.
it's like the 38th year. Robin Williams was in it, Dana Carvey was in it, and now like they used to play like big places, and now like they're playing the Comic Club. Like the Comic Club is like a stage, one row of tables, and then a wall. So
Right.
if you're a comic, you're just basically looking at a wall.
Well,
How
in
you're doing
Oakland, it was at the Oakland Inn, which, like, I mean, it's kind of like a hotel conference room, where like that, but like it's even smaller than that. Like, so I mean, it's
Whatever, fuck that shit. Chris, you were on This American Life recently,
Yeah.
and when's that going to air?
I think in a couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks.
Nice. And what were you doing on there?
I was
Telling-
talking in hushed tones about telling a sad story with a nice ending. Usually what happens on This American
I
Life.
hope you weren't too loud because like people like just change the channel. Like it's true, like that NPR stuff you have to have, unless it's some like breaking news about Syria. It's like you have to have that tone.
I think even breaking news about Syria, they're like, yeah,
No, they can't be like Syria. They had
problems.
They released chemical weapons on their people. You can't. You can be like, holy shit.
Yeah. I think they should let like Chris Berman on there or like just something he's just like, oh.
Supposedly, like Chris Berman is a big puss hound, and for people who don't know, Chris Berman does like the football for ESPN, and
For
supposedly
those of you who don't know who he is, he's the last person you want fucking your daughter.
Yeah, he looks
Oh,
like
absolutely.
Fred Flintstone with a comb over and like an orange tie that matches
Like-
his skin.
Hearing from your daughter's bedroom, back.
She's gone. I killed her. I killed her.
I could come
rape
all the
killer.
way. Yeah. You guys can't leave that joke out there. I'm gonna
Holy
pick it up.
Holito.
Who would you rather have sex with your daughter, Chris Berman or what's his name from the San Jose Merc? Skip.
Ray Ratto?
No, Skip
Oh,
Bayless.
Skip Bayless. I don't think I have a feeling that Skip Bayless is gay, but I don't know. Like I have like nothing to back that up other than the fact that
So is that would that be a good or bad mitigating factor to him fucking your daughter? Is that you think that he might be gay?
I love these like
At least
theoretical.
he's not a straight guy fucking my daughter. Like,
I love these theoretical questions. Who would you rather fuck your daughter?
It's
A
a
cartoon character or like Stephen A. Smith?
Bill Simmons or Scrooge McDuck? Who's it gonna be? She going all the way? Is she sucking dick? Like,
Depends on what she's willing to do.
Because Scrooge McDuck.
So how do you like LA? Because you're from LA, right,
Mm-hmm.
Chris? And and you came up here to go to school. You went to Cal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then now you're back in LA.
Yeah.
What part of LA did you grow up in?
I grew up by the airport in Inglewood, and then I went to high school in Manhattan Beach.
Nice.
Inglewood is where Paul Pierce, you may know him from playing for the Brooklyn Nets. He went to the high school.
Yeah, him, Byron Scott.
Byron
Reggie
Scott, really?
Theus,
Did you live
Trevor
near
Ariza.
Did you live,
Or Westchester
live near the
Ariza.
like totally nudes theater on your way to the airport?
I
Like,
did. I would. We'd go by that thing all the time. There's nudes, and then there's it's called nudes, and I
Right.
would go there with my friends after we turned 18. We'd go there for Thanksgiving. Like we'd leave our families, and be like, we're gonna go over to Richie's house, and then we'd just go to nudes, and it'd just be a bunch of old Japanese guys that didn't give a shit about Thanksgiving.
What if like you bought like the property right next to Nudes and opened a business called Nudes
Nudes on lewds.
And then yeah, but down the street from Nudes, there's the Wild Goose, and that's where Jerry Buss would go all the time, and he would like, because the Lakers
Jerry
training
Buss.
facility
Also,
was.
Jerry Buss was better than nudes then. Like,
Oh yeah. He's like, it's probably too close. It was like Wild Goose was kind of in the middle of nowhere. It was like off the beaten
Oh, okay.
track a little bit, and he would rent it out for lunch supposedly. Even
Really?
I knew that as a kid, that he would go there for lunch and then
Right.
just maybe with a couple buddies and rent out the whole place.
The late Jerry Buss, huge playboy.
Yeah.
Like he's always had some like hot like arm candy when he was like going to games. But like you can't argue with like results. Like the guy like ran an amazing like basketball team, and he always showed up with like Hot women.
That's what he said to Diane Cannon. He said, you can't argue with results. Now get busy.
That's what he said to Magic too. And then he got medication and he doesn't have that anymore.
See, it's okay because Chris is a huge Lakers fan. So
Yeah, exactly.
You know, whereas
He
if
can
we
make-
say something like that, it's terrible. But like, yeah.
Like if he wants to talk about, he wants to talk shit about Dwight Howard, he can do it. Like
Yeah.
all he wants. I went to one time when I was living in LA, which was like 91, 92. I was going to a Laker game, and so of course, like I'm in Inglewood, and I had to like stop to I don't know get like change or something. So I ran to like this Kentucky Fried Chicken, and the Kentucky Fried Chicken had like bulletproof glass
Oh, I bet.
between like the people running
Between
the
the people and the
registers.
chicken.
I was just like, I have no idea what the hell's going on
Right.
here. It's like if you go to like a bank where it's like
Well, I've been to like there's ones
Yeah.
there's ones like in Oakland. There's like drive-throughs where like it's this big like metal thing that slides in front of the thing, but it's like human shaped with like, but it's all like sharp. So if you
Oh,
like
yeah.
pull in there and try to like drag them out or something, you couldn't.
Yeah.
really?
There's
It's
a
like,
chunk
I'm
of
sure that
chicken by
at
the
some
lake
point they
that's
said,
like
you know what,
that.
I'm tired of getting dragged out of this drive-through window.
We need to design something that can prevent people from being dragged from their working station.
Our
Yeah,
last
the
3
guys
ship,
at corporate really-
supervisors got pulled out of their fucking.
Chris, put your best man on that.
Oh my god.
So like now you're back in LA, you're loving it.
Yeah, it's all right.
You're also what's the writing program you're doing as well?
It's not a big deal. I'm just doing this writer's workshop, like to ABC and NBC. It's just, it's like a Latino writer's workshop, and
Oh, cool.
a bunch of people applied, and I was one of the 10. And
Anyone else I would know? Cheech Marin?
George Lopez is in it. The late Freddie Prinze is in it. Prince, is that how you say it? Freddie Prinze Jr. It's just us 4, and we're just like throwing out ideas. Like, what can Cheech do next?
Can I tell you, like, when I first met you, like, I honestly went from having 0 Cuban friends to having, like, 4 immediately. It was like you and Julian Rodriguez and Janine Brito.
Oh, yeah.
And
She counts as 2 because she's a lesbian. It's a rarity. Right?
well,
She's like a collectible edition.
have you ever been to Cuba?
No. I would like
You,
to.
ever,
But,
you have any plans to go there?
I
hear
would
it's
like
great.
to one day. But I have no immediate plans. But
Do
I
you have
think
any
it'd-
extended family that still live there? or
all,
anything, or-
pretty much all my family's still
Oh, wow.
there.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
my
that's great.
parents left, and my sister left, and my grandparents on my dad's side, but everyone else is still in Cuba.
You hear these stories about Cuba, like before Castro took over, where it's like it was like the jewel of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And like it was actually like a vacation land for a lot of like northeastern mob guys.
Yeah.
It was just like they go down there, and of course it's a beautiful land, beautiful like
Like
oceans
Vegas
and
on an
beaches.
island or something like that. It's like all gambling.
Totally.
And shit, right?
Yeah.
And then like when Castro took over, like and nationalized everything, like
Right.
everybody's like out.
Yeah. But my parents always have funny stories of seeing. It could be bullshit. My dad's like, oh yeah, I'd see my dad would be like, oh yeah, I'd see Ernest Hemingway around all the time. It's pretty great. My brother drove him around in a cab. Like, okay. Yeah, Tommy Lasorda was around. He was like,
That might be true. I mean, like, yeah, Hemingway's a big like Cuba guy.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? He brought the mojito back.
yeah.
It's like one of those things like Woodstock, though, where it's like everybody of a certain age in Cuba is like, oh yeah, I hung out with.
Oh
like,
yeah,
you know,
we'd see him all the time. We
Yeah.
picked him up off the
me and
street. when he was
50,000 other
barfing.
people used to hang out with Hemingway every day.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
That's-
didn't like Hemingway bring back the mojito? He's like, oh, the hipsters are gonna love this.
yeah. He's responsible for the beard, the mojitos,
Right,
He
exactly.
invented Racer 5. I think.
blunts.
I went into a trance and saw some band called Band of Horses. I thought of a guy pissing in a fucking like photo booth. Are you doing any shows up here?
Well, I'm at Rooster Teeth Others this
You
weekend.
just opened up for one of my favorite comics, Dave Attell.
Oh yeah.
Are you gonna be at Roosters?
This weekend, which will probably be after this airs, but or before. this
Are you
airs.
opening for somebody or are you headlining?
Joe DeRosa. I'm featuring for Joe DeRosa, who
Oh, okay.
I really like a lot.
Oh, yeah.
He's
I
a
don't know
really,
him.
really funny, kind of dark
Just a lot on like
vulnerable
Vine and stuff, right? Like or like.
I don't know. I don't know. I think.
I saw him and like Jason Nash like doing some shit together or something like that.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know him from Vine.
Jason Nash is really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's funny on there.
Do you have any celebrity sightings from LA that we should know about?
A lot. I see him all the time. It's really weird.
What's the weird ones?
Yeah, is there one where you were like, well, this isn't fucking happening? Like this, yeah, like that can't be the real such and such. Like
I saw Kristen Dunst.
oh wow,
Kirsten
okay.
Dunst, yeah.
Snaggletooth Dunst.
Yeah. She came into
I love
a
how
sports
Andrew's
bar.
like, she's like this beautiful woman, and Andrew's like, fuck that bitch.
Let me pick out her one flaw.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
You and your dumb tooth.
Get out of show business with your terrible teeth.
So where'd you see her?
She showed up at the bar around the block called the Public House. It's just like a sports bar. Her and Nick Swardson were hanging out,
Oh my god.
watching.
But they weren't together. Like Nick Swardson's gay, I'm assuming, right?
I don't think they were together, but they were
Right.
hanging out.
I don't
hanging
think Nick
out.
Swardson's gay necessarily. Nick Swardson, if you're listening, write in and tell us what you think about
Well,
it.
one of the things that we do to promote our barcast is we will challenge people to fights.
Yeah.
And if Nick Swartzen is listening, I would like to fight him.
We
And then we'll
figure
find
if
out
we-
if he's gay or not.
We figure if we falsely accuse somebody every episode of being gay, that eventually we'll get a couple listeners at least, like from like police.
It works. Hey, can't argue with the results.
Next on the Arsenio Hall Show, we have Jeff Cleary.
Is
get
Arsenio's
out.
show is actually back now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I was channel surfing and I saw it and I was like, that can't be right. But I was like, I didn't care enough to go back to see if it was real.
I think he still got it. I watched part of an episode.
like crazy alien fingers, or
Yeah,
like, what does he got?
crazy long fingers.
Well, like who
Jimmy Fallon suit on.
who goes to the Arsenio Hall show? It's like, is it a bunch of people like my age, like in their like mid 40s?
Are they all going ironically?
Woof, woof, woof.
yeah. No, they're way over it.
Like everyone there is there ironically, like in a shitty T-shirt
Oh,
or
yeah.
something like that. Like,
Maybe it's
Right.
like wouldn't it be crazy if he went whoop whoop to us?
Hey, do another joke about Adrian Dantley.
Like you can imagine.
talk
like,
about that fun night with Keenan 93 Wayans again. The hipster
Yeah.
Keenan Iron. It would be Keenan Iron
Yeah.
Wayans.
Fuck that President Reagan.
yeah.
George Bush is a wimp. Oh god.
You got anything else you want to take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break. Why not?
All right, yes. It's time to take a break because I'm almost out of a beer.
All
And
right.
the,
And-
photo booth's waiting.
I'm just getting warmed up.
I'm just gonna, by the way, I met the owner. His
Yeah, yeah.
name is Aaron Burtz.
Are you sure he wants that public?
Yeah.
And he was telling me that this bar's been open for 15 years.
Okay.
Oh wow.
And I was like, well, it's been open for 15 years. How come you can't put like how come I still can't find the flush on the photo booth?
Take that.
All right, we'll be back.
The papaya is a fruit that's tropical. Big papaya is funny and topical. Every Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. on FCCFreeRadio.com.
And we are back at the Beauty Bar.
Hello.
Beauty Bar.
The beauty bar, indeed.
So, Chris, living in LA, are you a big Dodger fan?
I love the Doyers.
Do you have
The Doyers.
the what?
The Doyers.
Oh yes. What's your prediction for the World Series?
Well, I don't know about a really
How do
informed
you feel
prediction.
about like Magic Johnson being an owner of the Dodgers?
I love it. Magic Johnson is my childhood hero, even though I hate him as a sportscaster. But I don't, and he's kind of a weird businessman too. But still, I love him. I will always have a special place in my heart for him.
Even growing up as a diehard Celtics fan, I always loved Magic Johnson. I had this sort of hidden sort of affection for a lot of Laker players. I mean, just the big ones. Like I secretly loved Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I have an affection for anybody that names a movie theater after themselves.
Yeah.
It's just like come on down like
And a thrift store.
Yeah, and it's like a terrible like it's in a shitty neighborhood.
It's
People
called
get killed
Out of
at
the
it.
Closet.
Yeah.
His thrift store is called Out of the Closet
Yeah.
Thrift. So I was like, hey, Magic, you want to talk about something here?
That's how much he owns it. He's owning it, literally owning it. But I have such fond memories of the Lakers
And the
Celtics. And part of me, I know I don't like any of those guys though. I don't
In the
have,
Celtics?
Yeah, I hate.
Oh, come on,
I
Larry
hate
Bird.
DJ. Oh, well, Bird's okay, but Kevin McHale and Danny Ainge and Robert Parrish.
That's the thing that everybody.
Cornbread
I
Maxwell.
have a Len bias though, so sorry.
I think we were talking about Len
And
Bias.
Thank you, cocaine. Totally. A couple
Totally
more
Len
rings.
bias.
I think we were talking about like Len Bias on the last Barcast, where it's like I was saying like the saddest thing about the saddest thing was not like him dying and not that like he didn't play for the Celtics, is that like his mom like went around saying it was the first time Len ever did cocaine, and I was just like, dude, it was '86. He played for Maryland. Everybody, like every investment banker on the Eastern Seaboard had a deviated septum, so like I don't buy that at all.
No.
But it was weird. Like I remember, like people like giving me shits, like, "Oh, the Celtics, they used to be great, and now they're not so good anymore." I was like, "Well, two of their best players like croaked."
Yeah.
It's like
Oh yeah, Reggie
Lewis. I was
Also
like,
totally like robbed the world of like totally biased with Len bias.
"Oh, in another universe, he lived." But like, yeah, I used to. I mean, like, I had so much. I used to hate when I was a kid. I used to hate the Lakers, but I had so much respect for them because, like, as far as I'm concerned, there was a documentary about like Bird and Magic, and like how like when it was all said and done, there's like they basically considered themselves as like two men. The only two members of one fraternity, where they're just like, this is the only other guy who's as good as me.
Yeah.
And they were always like trying to like fight with each other. And I kind of felt like that about like the Lakers, like, back then. And he's like, even then I was just like, I fucking hate the Lakers. But then like when it was all over, when it was all gone, I was like, those guys have my ultimate respect.
Do you have a favorite like
mean,
LA
not-
sports moment like of your childhood or even
It has
after?
to do with Harold Miner, doesn't it?
No, when Magic hit that hook shot,
See?
God
was-
damn it. You
it
really,
was my birthday.
he's turning the dagger in
and-
my heart.
I got a dog for my birthday and named it Magic. It's like the most
Really?
fun.
Oh, wow.
It was like such a magical.
Everything about that
Magical
story
day.
is amazing.
Just think if it was just a little bit different, you could have a dog named AC Green.
Why'd you name the dog
This
Cooper?
This is my dog Mike Schmrick. Chuck Nevitt.
No, it's Michael Thompson with a Y. Call my dog by the correct name.
Spell it right, you idiot. Don't disrespect my Jamaican dog.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
That's I think of the Celtic Lakers.
Do you remember what happened after that? Like, so Magic hits that like amazing hook shot.
Yeah.
And then the Celtics come down, clock's running out, Bird's got a shot in the corner, and as soon as it goes up, I remember being like, game's over, this is done, and it just rimmed out.
Yeah.
And like I was just like, wait a minute, maybe there is no God.
Rimmed out.
I had it. I wish I still had this shirt, but I had a shirt that said "Purple Rain in Boston." It was like a Prince T-shirt, like a bootleg Prince T-shirt. Oh man,
I mean,
was
like,
so fun.
I'm sure like the rest of like the country like hated it, but if you were living in LA or in Boston, it was great.
Yeah.
Like, because everybody else was like second place.
yeah.
You
So
know?
do we have a game 5 tonight? Is the A's game 5 tonight, or is that
Oh
tomorrow?
no, that is.
That's tomorrow. Isn't it?
There is a game 5 tonight, and it's the Cardinals against the Pirates
Nah.
in St. Louis.
Can't do better than the Pirates uniforms, especially those goddamn hats. They're so cool.
Dude, I was in a Pittsburgh bar last night, and this guy, I was like, started talking to this dude, and he said, yeah, he's like, this is like a really big like postseason for me because the Pirates have never been in the postseason since I've been alive.
Oh my
And I
God.
was like, holy shit, that's totally right. Like if you're
There's probably
20
somebody in like Kansas City that's like
You're
30 years old that can say the
21.
same thing now too. Like,
yeah,
like
you're just like, oh my God, like they, like yeah, like I remember like when the Pirates had Barry Bonds and Bobby Bonilla and Andy Van Slyke.
Oh, Andy Van Slyke.
And like when in like '79, I remember like Willie Stargell and Dave Parker. But for like, what is it, 21 years, like people who like were Pirates fans were just like, fuck it, man. Like maybe Bill Cowher can win another Super Bowl.
And now it's like terrible. Like the Steelers suck. The like everything.
The
but
Pirates
the
is
Pirates.
all they got.
I think
I don't follow hockey, but
I think it's so cool that, like, Oakland and Detroit and Pittsburgh and to a certain point LA, there's like blue collar like cities that are like.
although
Yeah.
if you talk to like people, they'll always point out that like LA and the Boston, they have like huge payrolls. Like the A's have the third or fourth lowest payroll, and they're in the playoffs, and they're like, hopefully moving.
But I
on
love
tomorrow.
seeing like a team like the Angels like just spend money like it's going out of style and still suck. it's really
those
satisfying.
guys.
Dude.
Oh, I hate them so much.
Dude, like I think I was like saying this on another podcast. I went to a lot of A's games this year, and the worst visiting fans were like Angel fans.
Really?
And I was just like, you want to like roll over to them, and just be like, man, what are you doing? You're jogging Anaheim, and like you can speak to this more because like they're officially called the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, and somebody told me that both Anaheim and LA hate that.
It's so stupid. It's like not even close. It's in a different county.
Right.
It's like
where in LA do you play again?
yeah. It's like an hour and a half away.
But somebody told me like everybody in like Orange County thinks LA is just like nothing but gangbangers.
That's
Right.
because
And
they're
in
the
LA
whitest tea party. We call it the Orange Curtain because it is so. Ugh, it's the worst. It's like
It's because they're like
Run
Tahoe
again,
Denali can't
Republicans.
make it like in a tank of gas all the way up to LA. So like,
What about what's your like a prediction for the NBA this year? I feel like both our teams are gonna suck.
I think the Lakers are gonna take it. I think Sasha's gonna have like a really good year. and
I've already ordered my Andrew Wiggins Celtics jersey, so I'm kind of hoping they're the worst team in the league.
yeah.
there's a lot of
Supposedly
teams competing for it though. I mean, like there's 4 or 5 teams that could legitimately win less than 10 games this year. I think.
Supposedly they're saying that like this year, like next year's draft is going to be stacked, and this guy Wiggins is like the second coming of LeBron James. He's a can't miss kid.
Right.
So like there's a bunch of people who are just like, yeah, we're tanking. Sorry, babe.
Yeah.
I feel like whoever like wins the championship next year will just be like asterisk.
Do you think that like who's the Celtics' new coach? The guy from Butler, like
Brad Stevens.
Brad Stevens. Like, do you think that he'll give them a boost at all? Like, I mean, like that they'll actually play well for him despite the fact they don't want to.
You better fucking not if we're going for the first pick in the draft.
But like, wouldn't you at least want to see like some evidence that he's a really good coach though? I mean, like, because you're kind of like banking on him like being a good coach once you get good players. So you're like, you want him to suck this year, but like it's a weird position to be in.
His biggest problem is going to be like dealing with Rondo, because Rondo he's not going to react well to being a shitty team.
Well, they'll just trade him the moment he's healthy, right?
Nope. No, you gotta hold on to him because he's like an all-star. And
Yeah, but
then
all-star to
suck
what though? Like, if you're gonna, I mean, like, you can't really.
But if you suck and then you get like another all-star, you're like,
Yeah, I guess. But,
Am I
like,
the only one that thinks that Rondo looks a lot like Brent Weinbach? What is
Like-
that, black?
Black
Weinbach.
Weinbach,
Yeah.
Black Bach.
Black Weinbach.
What do you think? You think that coach is gonna be okay? The new
I
coach?
think he'll be okay, but I think.
But you don't want him to do well the first.
Well, I don't want him to do well like
This
next
year,
year,
yeah.
but I think they're gonna hold on to him.
Yeah.
Because I mean he's like a young, good-looking guy, white.
that
like,
goes a long way over there.
People in Boston will, although like I was like saying to someone like there's a lot of like athletes who don't want to play in Boston because there's a stigma about it being kind of a racist town.
Right. I don't know where that comes from. That's horseshit.
But how could like any black athlete play for Donald Sterling?
Oh God.
I mean, it's like, and you grew up with like the Clippers, like knowing their place, that they were like a shitty team, but now
Yeah.
they're kind of good, and they got Doc Rivers over there, and they have like like Chris Paul and
I hate all the new fans. Like, you fuckers don't know who Benoit Benjamin is, or Michael Cage, or
Eric Piatkowski.
yeah. Remember when Bo Kimball was your best player? Get out of here.
Do you remember the Danny Manning years?
Yeah.
Getting
Oh,
the
When you
fuck
rocked
out.
that
that
Pooh
guy.
Richardson jersey.
Oh, Jesus.
They were actually good when you and I were living in LA.
No, they weren't. They were. Oh no, I guess there was that
was
one
the- that
year
was the
where
last
they
time
went
they
to
made
the
the
playoffs
playoffs.
against the
Is that
Lakers,
the-
right? Like
Yeah.
that was
Danny
like
Manning.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
that was like one of their accidentally good years where like despite everything they tried, they still did well.
Yeah.
Like,
I went to Don Chaney basketball camp,
Don Chaney?
the Clippers coach, when I was a little kid.
oh wow.
Because my parents couldn't afford the Paul Westfall like Pat Riley basketball
We'll
camp.
send you to the
We'll send you to
other
the
guy.
Clippers one.
I don't think the words "we can't afford Paul Westfall" has ever been said.
I felt like it was like some juvenile hall type of thing. It was like some scared straight program.
Shape up, or we're gonna put you in the Paul Westhead camp.
Yeah.
You want to bunk with fucking like Charles Barkley? Then stop crying.
All right, you want to take a break and come back?
Yeah,
and,
let's take a break. And
land
we'll come
this
back.
fucker.
We'll and then we'll land this plane. All right, we'll be right back from the Beauty Bar.
Rolling down Imperial Highway, the big nasty red at my side. Santa Ana winds blowing hot from the north. We were born to ride. Roll down the window, put down the top, crank up the Beach Boys, baby. Don't let the music stop. We gonna ride it till we just can't ride it no more. From the side bay to the valley, from the west side to the
And we are back at the Beauty Bar
The Beauty Bar.
with Chris Garcia.
Hey.
Chris, do you like the music that's playing behind us?
Uh,
Did you forget your goat to sacrifice?
Is this the guy from the Osbournes?
It is.
That's where I know him from.
Isn't it like weird? Like some people will only know Ozzy Osbourne as the guy from the Osbournes.
As that mentally ill person. from
Kelly's
the
dad,
Osbournes.
right?
Yeah, Kelly's dad,
I
right?
know.
It's kind of like I was like talking about like Jose Canseco,
Right.
and it's like some people like will only know Jose Canseco as that crazy guy on Twitter,
Yeah.
and wouldn't know that there was like 2 or 3 years where he was the most dominant baseball player in the league,
Yeah.
and now people are just like, oh yeah, that fucking clown.
Yeah.
Well, he's probably just happy that nobody remembers him as that guy that got a ball off the top of his head in Texas.
Oh gosh.
That's still my favorite highlight.
He
I think,
needs
ever.
he needs to be on this season of Eastbound and Down, big time.
Oh yes, absolutely. There are some like baseball players I totally miss, and one of them is Manny Ramirez, Man Ram.
Yeah.
And in the absence of like players like Canseco and Man Ram, like all we're left with is like Adrian Beltre, who is legitimately crazy,
Yeah.
but like not crazy enough.
Yeah.
In the same way, there's going to be a lot of like young people who will only know Charles Barkley as that guy who gives Kenny Smith shit.
Yeah.
Like,
the
after-
photoshopped head guy.
Those jokes are like just so terrible.
Yeah.
You remember when Charles got like arrested for the last time?
Oh, wasn't he getting a blowjob while he ran a red light or something?
No, well, he told the cop that he was gonna go get a blowjob from this girl, and he like his way of trying to get out of it was like, you don't understand, this is a sure thing. Like the cop's gonna be like, oh, Charles Barkley, go let that girl like bop on your schmeckle.
Like, give me a percentage, and I'll think about letting you go.
Oh,
Ordinarily, I wouldn't let you go, but I know what a sure thing is like, Charles Barkley.
Well, didn't he like at one point earlier in his career? Didn't he throw a midget through a plate glass window once?
man.
Well,
What?
I think he did.
Okay, well, this is the thing. He didn't throw a midget, but like apparently he got into like a bar fight with somebody. And if you look at the police report, like Charles Barkley is like 6'5", 6'6".
Right.
The guy was like 5'1". So like apparently this like short guy tried to fight Charles Barkley, and he just picked him up and threw him through like the fucking front window of a bar.
Oh my god.
That should be like a lesson of what happens to you when you do that. I mean, like there's nothing that went wrong with that transaction.
Right, except that went even like Stephen Hawking would look like that's the way the universe works.
You fuck with Charles Barkley, you eat shit.
You eat glass. Sorry. So
what? Oh, go ahead.
Chris, what do you think of this bar?
I like it.
Yeah.
I think
Like, what's your final analysis, Phil Giuano?
Of the bar.
of the bar.
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
I like it. I like the decor. Even though when we first came in, like I was like saying like, oh yeah, it didn't used to be a beauty salon, and then they like sort of like had an interior decorator come in. But I like it.
Yeah, I like the music. The DJ's killing it. I like it.
The what?
I like the music. And the DJ.
music's really
the
good.
The ambiance this time of night. The sun going down over the city.
I think this is like this is the perfect time for this bar. I think like if you're here at like 10 o'clock at night, you probably have a totally different opinion.
Yeah,
Like,
if you come in like right after work or happy hour or something, like 6 to 8, perfect.
Perfect. Right.
I like
Exactly.
it. It's empty.
exactly. Perfect.
Although I do want to point out one thing about the bar, and in case anybody has been listening to this and like thought like, oh, well, Chris told a great story about pissing in a photo booth. I'm gonna go piss in the photo booth. We've done a little investigative journalism, and the photo booth is gone.
Yeah, but there's still plenty of corners you can piss in if you
Oh
want.
yeah.
Like if you really want to make a habit out of it. Or
Yeah,
like,
there's an industrial fan that could do a lot of damage if it's turned on.
It's a very angular bar. I'm sure you can find somewhere.
You really want to save that for the summer when it's on more. Like people are like, oh, is there a mister in here? It's nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Smells like
there-
outside in here.
It's sticky, but I like it. But no, yeah, you know, it's funny because
Yeah,
I was
what do
gonna say that the fact that it's a chain now, and that you were telling me that it wasn't originally like an actual salon, like those are definitely points against it. But like I have to say, like the time of day makes this place good because like
Yeah.
it's,
But still, the beauty bar it sounds corny, but the beauty bar in Vegas is awesome because it's like a nice, like, it's like, I think off Fremont Street where it's like so cheesy and so corny. But to go to a dive bar like this one there it's so refreshing.
Chris, Fremont Street
Oh,
is
yeah.
like the best part of a.
I know, I love it. It is
Yeah.
the best. It's Old Town, and
If
it's
you're
the
somebody-
most fun.
Yeah, if
well,
you're
it's cool to
somebody,
hear that it's actually there instead of like inside the Bellagio or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that. That'd
it's,
be terrible.
it's just, and it's
The
a cool
Bellagio?
to have. I
Yeah.
saw like a great '90s cover band when I was there. That was really fun.
Was
Who
it
that
like-
played Pavement and Guided by Voices?
oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that's great, and that's where the kids with bangs hang out. It makes me feel at home, you know.
You ever been watching a 90s cover band and you realize no, it's actually the band? Like, it's like oh, I love that this band is doing a cover of that lit song, and then you're like, oh no, wait, this is them.
This guy's a dead ringer for Steve Malcolmus.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay, all right.
Exactly.
In fact, he even like
That is Spiral Stairs. I
Right.
thought it was just some programmer guy.
Like, they must be so into Better Than Ezra because it sounds perfect. Oh wait, it's them.
the same as Ezra.
The same as Ezra.
Yeah. But no, I think I mean, you may find better bars like all day long in the Mission, but I think like for the time that we're here, this bar is great because it's like it's not all sun drenched either. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of dark, and like so you don't feel like you're necessarily like in the harsh gaze of sunlight where
My
you
two
would.
favorite bars from it sounds like such an alcoholic thing to say. From 5 p.m. to 8
Hey,
p.m. My
you know
two
what?
Totally
favorite
on the
bars.
wrong
Yeah,
show.
you're on the right show. This is the wheelhouse. Like, tell me all about.
This and Elbow Room, I think, between 5 and 8 are
Really?
great because they're kind of dark
You know what?
and
This
it
is the
feels
thing.
like
Like,
nighttime already.
those are two bars, and I said this earlier, that nobody I know in the neighborhood says, hey, meet me at the Elbow Room or meet me at the Beauty Bar. But you know what? You're totally right. If you go there early before all the San Jose douchebags show up, then it's great.
Yeah, I love it.
You know?
It's nice. They have a good DJ too that just plays,
Somebody
good
cut off the
music.
Ventures, or whoever that was.
Venture Brothers?
No, like the music. I was thinking it was surf music from the '60s. But so you were in Esquire magazine recently. Like speaking of
was on the
rocket
cover.
shuttle success.
yeah.
Actually, I wasn't. Oh, wait, you're talking to Chris.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Jeff was in the He's the cover guy for.
Like, don't serve this guy.
yeah. 10 guys not to serve across America. 1 through 9. Jeff
Everybody-
Cleary.
Chris, everybody loves lists.
yeah. It's so popular.
So you were in Esquire?
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
It was great.
And what was the title of the article? What to watch for?
No, it was a special on comedians that look like Peter Dinklage, and so they did this like expose, and they just wrote about me and Dinklage, and I got to meet him, and he's really
And
nice.
that was about it? Yeah.
Sit
I
on
remember
my
they did
lap.
like a whole issue, like what would Kevin, or what would Dinklage look like with normal sized legs?
right here. I think I might be Dinklage for, you know how Val, my girlfriend, is so tall, she's 6'2", and
Oh my God.
and she's blonde, so we might do Game of Thrones, where I'd be.
Oh, it's so perfect.
I'd be
Although, like,
Dinklage.
you do know, your costume, you'd have to be on your knees the entire night.
I think she's so tall I wouldn't have to. That's the thing, I think.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You could always do
regular.
that sort of dwarf thing where you put shoes on your knees.
yeah, I've
And,
always
like,
wanted to do that
you
anyway.
have to.
Yeah.
Just have that in your back pocket.
Yeah, just dwarf it up.
Dwarf it up.
But it's funny because I saw the Esquire article on was it ChrisGarciaComedy.com,
Oh, yeah.
and I liked it because Kevin Kamiya wrote the piece. Like I guess it's sort of like one comic writes for another comic, and it keeps going like a chain.
It's like
letter
hot
or something
potato.
like that. Right. But he said that, and you were saying that a lot of this was like totally misquoted, right? Like
I think he. Yeah, everyone had a phone conversation with the person, and then it was kind of misquoted. It was like, it felt kind of like a game of telephone a little bit.
Because I like that he said like Chris Garcia is also Cuban, so he's talking about growing up with immigrant parents. A lot of people don't like accent comedy, but for him, he's doing real people and making sure the joke's not the accent, it's the characters. Which, how much does that feel like a backhanded compliment?
You don't do accent comedy.
I don't think so either.
It's like most of your Cubans, all they do is talk in an accent like they're special. But like,
yeah.
Chris Garcia's better than that.
Yeah. There's so many insults going on.
Right,
there.
exactly.
I think it was probably confused. The person that wrote it down, the scribe, was confused.
Yeah, it got like lost in translation, as
Yeah,
they
yeah,
say.
like-
I guess.
Yeah.
They're like, let's just assume the next guy who's coming up is Cuban. What would you say about him?
Yeah.
You're like, you should pick him just to come back at him, and
Yeah.
then misquote all of his like Filipino stuff.
Yeah.
Well, this guy's Ethiopian, but like he doesn't make a lot of simple Ethiopian jokes.
Yeah. Kevin Kamiya isn't your usual Thai comic.
He doesn't do anything about pad thai at all.
Yeah.
It's a revolutionary. All right.
I can't even do a joke. All right, let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
Chris, thank you for coming on.
Of course,
And
thank
you're
you for
going to be
having me.
at
be
Rooster
at the-
T. Feathers.
Well, I'm actually headlining the Punchline the first Wednesday of December,
Nice.
which I believe it is December 4th.
You're headlining. Nice. Is this the
Yeah.
first time you've headlined?
No, I headlined my going away show last summer.
Yeah, but that was for like one show.
Yeah,
This is
this
going to be a
is-
whole weekend,
This
right?
is one show also.
Oh, okay.
So I'm excited because I'm just gonna pretty much talk about what has happened since. I'm just gonna talk
Yeah,
about.
you're just going to talk about pussy.
Yeah, I'm talking about all the pussy I've been smashing. Just like Hulk mode, you know.
So it's gonna be like a 5-hour show, right? Like it's gonna be
Yeah.
crazy long.
Just the Kristen Dunst, Nick Swardson section is a good hour and a half. You know?
Just her teeth alone take up like two hours.
Yeah.
We had
Our
Jim-
teeth get entangled. It's a whole. We fucked for 2 minutes and then our teeth got stuck, and Nick had to pull us out. And
I want you, because you've been on our show, I want you to take a pledge. We were talking about this with Jimmy Dore. That remember that short-lived sort of competition that comics had? Who could have the longest set? And
Yeah.
it was like Dave Chappelle and Dane Cook.
Right.
Like Jimmy Dore was saying, he's like, that sounds like the worst fucking thing in the world. Like, just promise me you'll never try to do that.
Yeah.
Where Jimmy Dore was like saying that's like getting a 9-hour hand job. Where it's just like, yeah, it was fun for a little while, but it's like, who wants to do that? So please don't do that.
I won't jerk off for 9 hours in a row.
To prevent chafing.
Exactly. Or at least use some moisturizer.
Yeah.
So do you have any? Did you happen to think of any gone but not forgottens in this area or anything apart from Apart from the Sunrest Tavern that used to be here, apparently.
I don't actually have any. I mean, there's a lot of like things that have like turned over, but I don't have one on the top of my head. Gone,
Like
but
all the
not
furniture
forgotten.
stores that are being gutted out for fancy cheese places.
I don't know. There was like a Latino like music store on the corner, like a couple blocks up, that is now like a T-Mobile store.
Ooh.
Which sounds like it's just like that. That more than anything else will represent like what's happening to the Mission. Where it's like had this like great Latino like music store.
There's that huge music store that has like handprints of like Tito Puente and like
Yeah, Chris, it's
Gloria
gone.
Trevi. I know, but now it's a T-Mobile
Yes,
store.
now it's a T-Mobile
that
store.
caters to
So-
Latinos.
Do they still have like? Do they just sell like cell phones to people with like a Tito Puente's handprints or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, they still
Yeah, if you
all
have
that
the
shit there?
same size hand as Celia Cruz, you get $10 off your monthly bill.
Sweet. I knew there'd be a payoff to having the hands of Tito Puente. All right.
Are you ready? All right, Chris, thank you again for being on the show.
Thanks, you guys.
Don't forget to, I don't know, leave us a review on iTunes or something. Tell us what bar you want us to go to, and we'll fucking go. We don't care.
Yeah, if you want to, if anybody wants to write us, you tell us what bar you want us to go to, and if we haven't done it, we will do it.
We're empty vessels.
So you
We'll kill politicians. We'll do anything for you.
Empty vessel. That was like my second wife. Hey.
Oh, look out.
All right, this is SFBarkast. I'm Jeff Cleary,
I'm Andrew Louder.
and thank you, Chris Garcia, for being on. Thank you. And we'll see you next time.
Mataron al negro bembón, mataron al negro bembón, y hoy lo lloran noche y día, porque el negrito bembón, todo el mundo lo quería, porque el negrito bembón, todo el mundo lo quería, y llegó la policía, y arrestaron al matón, uno de los policías, que también era un bembón, le tocó la mala suerte de hacer la investigación. Le tocó la mala suerte de hacer la investigación. ¿Sabe la pregunta que le hizo al matón? ¿Por qué lo mató? Diga usted la razón. ¿Sabe la respuesta que le dio el matón? Yo lo maté por ser tan bembón. El guardia escondió la bemba y le dijo...